Sometimes you ask yourself why you aren't noticed the way you deserve to be, why your efforts remain in the shadows while others receive recognition for much less. This is where the greatest secret of your destiny lies hidden. While people judge you by your words, appearance, and actions, there is one who looks much further. He notices not only what you have done, but also what you wanted to do but couldn't. He sees your inner battles that no one knows about, and it is there that your true strength is revealed. You may feel undervalued, forgotten, or misunderstood, but that is only the surface. Because within you, there is something that cannot be measured by a stranger's gaze. This is exactly what the Almighty sees. People see the result, but God sees the path you walked to get there. People notice loud words, but He hears your quiet prayers, even those you don't speak aloud. You may doubt yourself, but He has never once doubted who you truly are. You carry a depth within you that not everyone is capable of handling. That is why not everyone stays by your side, and why some fail to understand you. They look superficially, unable to see the inner work you perform every single day, but God sees every effort, every attempt to become better, every decision not to break. Even when you think nothing is changing, processes are unfolding within you that cannot be stopped. This is growth that requires no applause. This is strength that needs no validation. You have likely felt as if you are walking against the current, as if the whole world is moving in one direction and you are moving in another. This is no accident. This is a sign of being chosen by the higher powers. Something different is embedded within you, something that does not obey general rules. God sees a potential in you that has not yet been fully revealed, and that is why your path differs from others. You may be misunderstood, undervalued, or even rejected, but this is not a mistake. It is a protection, meant to preserve within you that which is yet to unfold at the right moment. There are days when you feel exhausted and think that perhaps none of it makes sense. You look at your life and see no quick results, no clear answers. But it is in these moments that the most important things happen. God sees your resilience, patience, and faith, even if it feels weak to you. He sees how you keep moving despite the doubts. And this is far more precious than quick victories that come easily and disappear just as fast. You are not where you are by accident. Even if it seems that everything is happening chaotically and without meaning, in reality, everything matters. Every person, every situation, every pain, and every joy is shaping you. God sees the big picture that you are not yet able to see in its entirety. He knows where you are headed, even if you don't understand the destination yourself. And the most amazing part is that you already have everything you need within you to get there. Sometimes you look at others and think they are stronger, smarter, or more successful. But this comparison is deceptive because God has placed unique qualities within you that are not repeated in anyone else. What seems like a weakness to you may turn out to be your greatest strength. What you try to hide may become your gift. This is exactly what He sees in you. Even if you are not yet ready to accept it yourself, you are going through special trials because there is a power within you that needs to be unleashed. God sees your endurance. Even when you feel you have reached your limit, He sees how you rise after falling, even if no one notices. And every time you keep going despite everything, you become closer to the person you are meant to be. There are things in your life that remain hidden from the eyes of those around you, but they are not hidden from God. He sees your thoughts, your fears, and the dreams you are afraid to voice. He knows what is in your heart, even if you cannot explain it yourself. Most importantly, He does not judge you the way people do. He sees you as a whole, without masks or pretense, and accepts you exactly as you are. You may not understand why certain doors in your life are closing. You may feel disappointment, pain, and even injustice. But God sees further than you do. He knows which paths will lead you to where you truly belong. Chosen one, there is a light within you that cannot be extinguished. Even if it is dark all around, even if you feel lost, this light remains inside you. God sees it. And that is why you keep moving even when it feels like your strength is gone. This is not an accident or a coincidence. This is part of your path, which is only beginning to unfold. The most important thing you must understand right now is that you are not yet fully revealed. People see only a part of you, but God sees your completed version. He already knows who you will become, and that is why you are going through all of this. When the moment comes, everything will begin to fall into place in a way that will surprise even you. This is only the beginning, chosen one, and ahead lies something you cannot even imagine. There is a hidden layer to your personality that cannot be reached by the words, judgments, or expectations of others. That is where what God sees first is hidden. It is not your successes or your mistakes. It is who you become in the silence when no one is watching. In those moments, you are real. People may play roles, but before Him, you always remain yourself. And it is this authenticity that matters, even if it doesn't bring you visible results yet. You may not understand why you feel a resistance to things that seem normal to others, why you cannot live as simply, without asking extra questions or feeling more deeply. This is not a weakness, but a sign that you possess a sensitivity to what is hidden from most. God sees how you react not just to events, but to their very essence. You catch what others miss, even if you cannot always explain it in words. And this is exactly what makes you different, even if it sometimes makes your life more complicated. There are moments when you seem to become a stranger to yourself, when your reactions, thoughts, and desires change, and you no longer recognize your former self. This can be frightening because you lose your sense of stability, but in reality, it is a sign of an inner shift that cannot be stopped. God sees how the old is leaving you and making room for the new. This process is not always comfortable because it breaks familiar foundations. But it is precisely through this that you become closer to your true essence. Chosen one, you have likely noticed how it sometimes becomes difficult for you to be in your usual environment. The people are the same, the conversations are the same, but everything inside reacts differently. What used to seem normal now causes tension or even rejection. This is not accidental, nor is it a temporary mood. God sees how you are outgrowing certain levels and can no longer go back. The more you try to hold on to the old, the stronger the inner discomfort you feel, because you have already moved beyond that state, even if everything on the outside remains the same. There is one more thing you may not fully realize. You don't just experience your emotions, you live through them more deeply than most. What passes quickly for others leaves a mark on you and transforms into understanding. This may seem heavy because you feel more, but it is exactly through this that your inner depth is formed. God does not see how many times you smiled, but how you walked through your most difficult states. And this is valued far more than outward ease. Sometimes, you may even feel as if you are being held back, that you could do more, go further, but something prevents you from doing so. This can cause irritation and misunderstanding, but behind this lies a process that cannot be rushed. God sees when you are ready for the next step, and when you need a little more time. And even if it seems to you that you are standing still, in reality, preparation for something greater is taking place within you. There are periods when you feel an inner emptiness, as if everything that used to give meaning no longer works. This may seem like a loss, but in reality, it is a clearing of space. God removes from your life what no longer corresponds to your internal level, and in that moment, you are left alone with yourself. This is not easy, but it is here that the formation of something real begins, something that can no longer be destroyed. You are beginning to see people more deeply than before. You feel their intentions even if they say nothing. This inner quality does not come to everyone. God sees how you are learning to discern not by words, but by the state of being, and this gives you the ability not to lose yourself among the expectations and influences of others. At some point, you begin to understand one important thing. You weren't being prepared for an ordinary life. You are being prepared to understand what is hidden from the majority. This is not a path of ease, but it is a path of meaning. God sees in you not just a person who is living, but someone capable of seeing deeper, feeling stronger, and understanding more. And this is only the next stage, chosen one. Because later, something will be revealed to you that will make you look even at yourself in a completely different way. You begin to notice that inside you there is an observer of sorts who is in no rush to react as before. In situations where a sharp emotion used to arise, a pause now appears, and in this pause, something important happens. You look at what is occurring a bit deeper than just the outer layer. This may seem strange, as if you are distancing yourself from habitual reactions. But in reality, you are approaching true understanding. God sees how this inner space is forming within you, where awareness is born, and it is there that the decisions that change your reality are laid down. More and more often, you feel that you do not want to act automatically as you did before. A quiet resistance arises within toward haste, vanity, and meaningless actions. This is not laziness or a loss of motivation, as it might seem from the outside. This is a change in your internal tuning, which no longer accepts emptiness for movement. God sees how you stop wasting yourself on what does not bring growth. And even if externally it looks like a slowdown, in reality, you are beginning to move more precisely. You are no longer scattering yourself. You are choosing. Furthermore, you may notice that familiar goals no longer evoke the same response in you. What used to seem important is gradually losing its power. This can be frightening because it feels as though you are losing your bearings. But in truth, you are freeing yourself from the expectations of others that you previously mistook for your own. God sees how a new direction is forming within you, one that does not depend on external pressure. And that is why the old begins to leave without the possibility of return. Then comes the most pivotal moment. You begin to feel that your honesty with yourself becomes more important than the approval of those around you. Previously, you might have adapted or sought compromises to maintain relationships or avoid conflict. Now, a clear sense arises within of exactly where you are betraying yourself. God sees this moment very clearly, because it is here that your inner foundation is defined. And the more often you choose to be honest with yourself, the stronger this stake becomes. You may notice that loneliness is no longer perceived as painfully as before. It no longer feels like emptiness, but becomes a space where you begin to hear yourself. This is not isolation, but an opportunity to restore the connection with what truly matters. God sees how you are ceasing to fear being alone with yourself. And in this state, you begin to find answers that are impossible to receive in the noise. Sometimes, a feeling arises within you that you are standing on the threshold of something significant. Yet, there is no clear understanding of what exactly is supposed to happen. This can cause tension because you feel the movement but cannot see the direction. God sees this stage as a transition that cannot be skipped. This is where your trust is tested. Your ability to accept that you don't always have to understand everything in advance. And the more calmly you navigate this moment, the sooner the next step reveals itself. You are beginning to realize that strength is not always manifested through action. Sometimes, it is shown through the ability to avoid doing what destroys you. This is a subtle distinction that changes your entire perspective. Before, you might have thought you constantly needed to prove something, to fight, to achieve. Now, you see that true strength often lies in maintaining your inner balance. God sees how you are learning to master yourself rather than external circumstances. And this makes you more resilient than ever before. And this is where the deepest change begins. You stop seeking validation of your worth from the outside. It doesn't happen abruptly, but gradually, until one moment you suddenly realize it. You no longer need someone to tell you that you are good enough, because a knowledge emerges within you that does not depend on opinions. God sees this transition as one of the most important stages of your life. From this moment on, your path begins to unfold in a completely different way, because now things will be revealed to you that are impossible to see as long as you are dependent on the gaze of others. God sees you, and everything happening to you is directed toward making you see Him as well. This is the ultimate secret of the destiny of the chosen.